everybody, what's going on? Bay Ragni here from Totally Driven Radio, and also known as ECW Original Chubby Dudley, one of the original Dudley boys. So my Totally Driven Radio co-host Nick Wilkinson, he asked me to start doing these little story videos for the YouTube channel. So he wanted me to tell a story about back in the day, what it was like sleeping out for concert tickets. So I had a funny story to tell about sleeping out for concert tickets. So I grew up in Upper Darby, Pennsylvania, home of the Tower Theater, the legendary Tower Theater. You know, David Bowie live at the Tower. I grew up 3 blocks from there. That is known as, it's right outside of Philadelphia, Delaware County area, for my Upper Darby people and all the Delaware County people, Delco. And a little history thing, Upper Darby is also the largest township in the United States, which is kind of interesting. But anyway, so I grew up in Upper Darby, and growing up, there was, getting into the hard rock and metal scene of the early 80s, we grew up and fell in love with Quiet Riot, Motley Crue, Rat, this whole LA scene explosion. But then there was this scene here in Philly, but I was way too young to know really what was going on. But the only way I knew what was going on was there was a local, on one of the local radio stations, they used to do a Saturday night show called Metal Shop. And I had heard about a band called Cinderella. And they used to play, Cinderella had made a 45 years before they got signed with Shake Me and Nobody's Fool. And they used to play that, so I heard of Cinderella. But then the first time seeing Cinderella was on MTV. They did a commercial for a place here, well, a place back then in the Delco area called Pat's Chili Dogs. And it's on YouTube now. Millions of people have seen it. But, I was like a 13, 14-year-old kid, and I saw that video and was like, holy shit. That's what I want to do. I want to be, this glammed out, maxed rocker screaming about fucking chili dogs. So, I mean, that was like, holy shit, totally blown away. Fast forward in time, Cinderella is growing throughout the Philadelphia scene. Bon Jovi sees them, gets them signed to Polygram Records, and there was a local newspaper, I don't even know if it's still in existence, but for many years, called the News of Delaware County. And it was a weekly newspaper, and their entertainment section, every week when I would get it, I would rip it open to look at the entertainment section to see if there was articles in Cinderella, because Cinderella guys grew up in the Delco area. They were all 15 minutes away from me. So it was kind of holy crap. You know what I mean? You knew of Motley Crue, you knew the West Coast, like I said, Quiet Riot, Motley Crue, Rat, those guys on the West Coast exploding. But now it was somebody here in my backyard starting to explode. So they get signed to Polygram Records, and you would see the news stories about them in this newspaper every so often. And I think I still have one of the articles, and I remember the picture vividly. It was literally them in one of the guys' bedrooms, and I think Jeff LaBar was sitting on the bed, but they're all standing around. But I gotta see if I have it. If I have it, I'll have Nick put it into this video. But falling in love with Cinderella, and Night Songs was getting ready to come out, and they did a farewell concert at the Empire Rock Club, the legendary Philadelphia club, the Empire Rock Club. So I got to they did 2 shows, which was rare. There was never 2 shows in one night, but they did 2 shows in one night, and I got to go to the all ages one, the early show. I was 16. I had just started driving, and I drove up over an hour away to go to this show. me and my friends packed in my car and we went, and it was such an amazing experience. Then I just became, from that point on, I'm like now completely obsessed with Cinderella. And I mean, my hair was growing long. My sister was a hairdresser. I had my sister perm my hair to be like Tommy Kiefer. I wanted to be Tommy Kiefer. Like, the hair was growing out. I had the blonde streak down the side like Kiefer. I just wanted to be Tommy Kiefer. Like, I was playing guitar. I was trying to sing like Kiefer. Yeah, so completely obsessed with Cinderella, Tom Kiefer, and they leave and go do their first tour with Poison, and then they got signed to do their first big tour, which was opening up for David Lee Roth, and this was going to be their real, the first homecoming of them, playing the Philadelphia Spectrum. So when tickets went on sale back in the day, you know, there was no internet. You couldn't buy tickets on your phone. You couldn't just, you know, sit at your computer now and wait for tickets to go on sale at 10 a.m. and boom, 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 got it. You had to go to the ticket location. And a lot of times the best place to get their best tickets was at the actual arena of the shows. So, I think about this now, and it was 1986. David Lee Roth, his first solo tour. He put this supergroup together with Steve Vai and Billy Sheehan, and Cinderella gets the opening act. And I think back, like, I remember my mom being so strict, and I'm like, now that I think about it, I'm like, it's hard to believe my mom actually like said yes. Like, I mean, I probably did a whole lot of whining and begging to get her to say yes, but she said yes. So so me and my buddy John went to go sleep out for tickets. And the funny story, we still laugh about it to this day. So we hadn't slept out for tickets before. This is our first experience for both of us. We're both 16 years old. And so we go down it was a Friday night. We probably went down like 8 o'clock at night. And it was raining. And I'll never forget this. So, and I don't know. So I brought with us, to keep us occupied, and I didn't know if we were going to read these in line or whatever, but Penthouse Magazine used to have, I think it was called Penthouse Forums. They were like little pocket books like this big, and it was just nothing but sex stories. And I had some, or John had some, either one. It was probably me. But we brought them with us to read. So I don't know if we were just going to sit in the car and read them, or sit in line and read them. I have no freaking idea. But it was like a freaking complete torrential downpour of rain. It's raining like crazy, and we were like, everybody, there was nobody in line. Like, everybody was just sitting in their cars. So we were like, all right, cool. Hopefully we'll luck out and it'll rain all night long, and we can just sleep in the car, and then we'll be good, and we can just, make a break for the line in the morning. So we were like, probably maybe not even an hour. We're like lounged in my car, and John's in the back seat. I'm in the front seat, and we're reading these Penthouse books and these sex stories, and we're laughing our asses off at these stories, and also learning things too. And it was just raining so much. I remember I could still like picture the windows of my car. Like, you couldn't even see out of it because it was just so much rain. And then it just like stopped. And we were sitting there just like, whatever. People aren't going to go out. And like, I decided to like turn like the windshield wipers on, and all of a sudden I just see crowds of people running to go get in line. And me and John were like, oh fuck. So we're like putting our shoes, like we had our shoes on, we were like all fucking ready for bed and shit. Like, we're putting our shoes on, we're like, fuck, and we're like run out to go get in line, and we're like, all right. And now we're just like standing there, and it's just like, all right, so now what do we do? And it's just like, let's stand here. And then you stand there for hours, and then you finally sit on the wet concrete, and you sit there. And you don't end up sleeping. You end up like people have radios. It just became like a giant. It becomes like a giant like block party, like just a free for all. People are just hanging out, cranking music, listening to Cinderella. Listening to Van Halen, David Lee Roth's new solo album at the time. Just having a good time and just meeting people. Like that was like a version of social media. Like just being sociable in person. No freaking Facebook, no fucking Instagram or Twitter or nothing. Just hello, how are you? Nice to meet you. Shaking hands and just talking about music and things like that and connecting with people. And it's funny because many years after that, like people that I met in line, you would see them at concerts and it was like, hey, like you remembered each other. So it was kind of cool. It was kind of cool. So those were the days, like before being able just to go online and buy tickets, which you know when you think about it now, I sit back and I think it's kind of like fucked up because it probably put a lot of people out of work that used to work the ticket booths and at the arenas or the ticket outlets and shit. Like how many people got put out of work because of that? Because now people just buy their tickets themselves. So there you go. So that was my adventure of sleeping out for concert tickets to go see Cinderella. And actually, for the record, it was an amazing freaking concert. Uh, yeah, just yeah. So I saw Cinderella so many times in those early years. Like after, like I was just like I said, just completely obsessed. So good stuff. So yeah, go back, watch them old Cinderella videos, and they did Delco proud. They did Philly proud. Much love to all those guys. And thank you for leaving such a mark on my life. Absolutely. So there you go. There's the story. And who knows? We'll probably do some more of these goofy, crazy stories. Nick will throw ideas at me, and I'll sit and tell the stories. So there you go. But all right, there you go. Have a good one.
Don't forget, you can check out Totally Driven Radio every Thursday night on Blog Talk Radio. And if you want to check out Totally Driven Radio live, you can meet Bay Ragni and Sick Nick Wilkinson at the Nashville Rockin' Pod Expo Saturday, August 10th, 2019 at the Airport Marriott. Totally Driven Entertainment. Get driven. Stay driven.